I can't tell what, but there's just something in my eye. Like, it will not go away. It is not going away. If you see me blinking weird, I don't know what I've done, but maybe it's my contact bent up or something behind my contacts. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we are listening to some John Grant. I've never heard of Mr. Grant, but we're going to be listening to his track, Glacier, the final track off of his album, Pale Green Ghost, released in 2013. Because I have the Wikipedia page pulled up, I see that he's the former frontman of a band called The SARS. Never heard of them either. I also see, because I can't help but see it, that this track also features none other than Sinead O'Connor. Listen, I'm ready. You don't have to twist my arm. It wouldn't work anyway. Anyways, we're listening to this because it was recommended and suggested and sponsored by Saturnine Bear. John, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support and, of course, the suggestions. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. We'll talk about it a little bit after. Here we go.
You just want to live your life the best way you know how, but they keep on telling you that you are not allowed. They say you are sick, that you should hang your head in shame. They are pointing fingers and want you to take the blame. There are days when people are so nasty and convincing. They say things beyond belief that sting and leave you wincing. And to boot, they say their words come straight down from above, and they really seem to think that what they're doing counts as love.
It's a good line.
This pain, it is a glacier moving through you.
It's got an interesting reverb and echo on his voice there.
And carving out deep valleys and creating spectacular landscapes, and nourishing the ground with precious minerals and other stuff. So don't you become paralyzed with fear when things seem particularly rough.
I love the grandiose scope of these strings that are playing here. It's beautiful.
Don't you pay them fuckers, as they say, no, never mind. They don't give two shits about you. It's the blind leading the blind. What they want is commonly referred to as theocracy, and what that boils down to is referred to as hypocrisy. Don't listen.
This is a hard-hitting, big emotional track.
Answers on your own, even if it means that sometimes you feel quite alone. No one on this planet can tell you what to believe. People like to talk a lot, and they like to deceive. This pain, it is a glacier.
A lot of echo back there that it keeps going.
And carving out deep valleys and creating spectacular landscapes, and nourishing the ground with precious minerals and other stuff.
I love the way he says other stuff, like...
So don't you become paralyzed with fear when things seem particularly rough. Oh, this pain.
It's like a big, big hymn.
It is a glacier moving through, carving out deep valleys and creating spectacular landscapes, and nourishing the ground with precious minerals and other stuff. So don't you become paralyzed with fear.
Have I heard Sinead yet? I just realized.
Particularly rough.
I like the way that piano came out. This is a really like encompassing, surrounding kind of song. It just envelops you. I love the way it's playing. It's just dancing and twirling around the music here as it swells in this finale. It's just dancing in this cascades. I love that this has ended this way. Especially with the context as this is the last track on the album, man, does it work so well in just like this perfect conclusion. It has that feeling, right? We'll talk about everything and the piano. Man, what a perfect bookend. What a perfect ending to this track, which is big and symphonic, filled with orchestra, a very direct and personal message, and good singing. Like, it has all these things. And then when he pretty much is done singing, it's like, I don't know, maybe about 5 minutes or so. And I'm like, we still have 2 minutes left. Is this just going to be a nice, big orchestrated conclusive element to this? No. The piano is brilliantly played. That's going to be performed by Chris Pemberton. His piano playing, I think is, for me, like the best thing in this track. I love the lyrics. I love the emotion. I love the overall way that it carries itself. But just the way that his piano at the end takes this emotional journey that we've been on and just kind of sends us to the stars. Because the way he plays piano and the way that he's dancing around those symphonic elements, it feels like stars just littering a black sky and a black backdrop, with this beautiful pieces of light and dots of light that are just floating out there. It was just so wonderful, obviously very classically inspired. And as gentle as it was, it still had a power behind it. It still had a resilience behind it, which I think kind of works well with the lyrics as well. There's a resilience and a perseverance carrying on even through pain, even through suffering and malice. That was just very, very good. Love the piano. Now we can talk about the rest of it. John Grant's lead vocalist, and he also handles some of the synth programming apparently here. His voice was very it sounded deep and personal and concerned. He's not singing out in a way that's singing out. This feels like something more personal. Now, I've never heard of John Grant, so I cannot speak for any other track on this album, so I can't speak for him in general. So I don't know if he does in other tracks perhaps sing a little bit more out rather than more, closer and intimate. However, I think that for what we just heard, it works incredibly well. Now, I'm just doing this just to get an idea. I'm not listening to any other songs, but I'm just clicking a random one just to see. Okay, see, just kind of same. I'm just clicking, guys. I'm not listening. Okay, so at least just based on that very small sample size, his singing, at least what he does a lot of, is more close and personal. I think it works incredibly here, especially with the mood shift. Now, the two tracks that I literally just clicked 2 seconds of definitely paint a different picture, right? There's guitar, there's drums, there's a little bit more of a perhaps relaxed rock sound going on, whereas here, it kind of strips all of that, and we're just left with this symphonic beauty and his voice and the way that all carries. That was just incredibly done. Very, very nice. Now, let's dive into the lyrics here. Pull you guys up. You just want to live your life the best way you know how, but they keep on telling you that you are not allowed. They say you're sick, that you should hang your head in shame. They're pointing fingers and want you to take the blame. So who is they? What are you sick of? Let's keep on going. There are days, either way, it's talking about, someone saying, you shouldn't do this. They should hang your head in shame. But what is it? There are days when people are so nasty and convincing, they say things beyond belief that sting and leave you wincing, and to boot they say their words come down or straight down from above, and they really seem to think that what they're doing counts as love. So, unless I'm missing something, I think we're obviously getting a religious connotation here. Some will use, these words came from above as an excuse to, of course, spew their hate and spew their dislike or discontent of something that they find issue with, that they say counts as love, when quite obviously that is not the love that I know. This pain, it is a glacier moving through you and carving out deep valleys and creating spectacular landscapes and nourishing the ground with precious minerals and other stuff. So don't you become paralyzed with fear when things seem particularly rough. I think that this is a really good chorus. So first of all, we get, of course, what the title of the track is. This pain, the pain is a glacier. The pain you feel when those people say those things or those acts are, acted upon you. That pain is a glacier moving through you. It's big. It sits there. A glacier generally doesn't move, right? It just kind of sits there. It's big. But he says it carves out deep valleys and creating spectacular landscapes and nourishing the ground with precious minerals and other stuff. This glacier, this pain, will melt. Not in a climate change melting, but in somewhat related, I guess. This pain in you, it's big, it seems insurmountable, it's cold, but it will melt. It will begin to move, creating what? Spectacular landscapes, deep valleys. It's going to nourish you with precious minerals. This pain, as much as it hurts right now, not saying that it's good for you or that you should have to endure these things, but this pain is going to provide you with experience and beauty and resilience and strength that you are not going to believe. I think that is wonderful how that's written. And then he also says, so you don't become paralyzed with fear when things seem particularly rough. When you feel that there is no hope, when you feel that you are at the edge of that burning building looking out the window, you can't go back through the door because there's a fire behind you and the only choice you have is to jump out, he says, you do have another choice. Don't become paralyzed with fear. Don't pay them. Hold on, I got it.
What's your profanity?
Don't pay them as they say, no, never mind. They don't give anything about you. It's the blind leading the blind. They don't know what they're talking about, and they ain't talking about you, brother. What they want is commonly referred to as theocracy, and what that boils down to is referred to as hypocrisy. Of course, now he's getting more direct. There's definitely the religious connotation. What they want is apparently something God-led in their government and politics, etc., when, of course, he says that boils down to hypocrisy. Don't listen to anyone. Get answers on your own, even if it means that sometimes you feel quite alone. It's a personal journey. No one on this planet can tell you what to believe. People like to talk a lot, and they like to deceive. I was going to make an Elephant Talk King Crimson joke, but I couldn't quite land it. And then he just repeats the chorus there. Now, unless I'm thinking differently, hold on. We could read the article. We could read the article. Here we go. When performing live, John Grant has said this song is about how the USA is not a theocracy, of course, a form of government in which a deity is the source from which all authority derives, even though if we were to include the Greek god of Bacchus or Roman god, same thing, maybe things would be kind of fun at least. It relates to how people treat each other, rooted in a society driven by archaic religious values. John Grant is both homosexual and HIV positive, and he relates the nasty comments and attitudes he receives and experiences in relation to this. And of course, the pain moves slowly through him like a glacier. The song highlights the broken society and hypocrisy evident in the USA. Well, as someone, especially like if he's gay, right? Like, and these things are the things that have been said to him. You know, they say you're sick. They say you should hang your head in shame. No, brother, just be who you are. Be the best you can be. I think that's really cool. I think the lyrics are great. Now, can I say something? I maybe I wasn't listening correctly. Maybe I was listening for like a verse from Miss O'Connor. I didn't get that. I really thought I was going to like hear her, but I guess she is really more so in the back with the harmonies more so than anything else. So I think that this is really nice. Like, especially, right? Like having to go through, you know, what's the word, malice of people and the things that he's experienced for just literally existing, for just being who you are. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. I think it's really beautiful, this song that he's written. And I'm sure that this would be something that's like probably very strengthening to not only other people who are gay or queer or whatever in any other way, and who could take solace and strength from this, like this resilience and the way he's encouraged, but really anyone who's oppressed in some capacity. I think this is a really beautiful song. That this strength it'll work through you, take it in, convert it into something that you can use for yourself, and move on. I think that's a beautiful song. I think that works really, really wonderfully. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. I really appreciate the recommendation. Thank you, Saturine. Or I always say Saturine. Saturine. John, thank you for the recommendation. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.